Strategy Management Series, Video number 118 Strategy Formulation, Step 7, Strategy Evaluation. Key Lessons from Game Theory. Welcome back to the Ready MBA series on strategy management. In our previous sessions, we delved into strategy evaluation, the crucial seventh step of the strategy formulation process. This stage entails scrutinizing potential strategies for their impact, benefits, costs, and resource requirements. We also discussed game theory, a technique for predicting competitors' moves in a competitive situation, and how it can be used by the planning team to refine their strategic analysis. One of the primary benefits of game theory is its ability to help decision-makers anticipate the potential outcomes of different strategies and understand the ripple effects of their choices. This is especially valuable during strategy formulation and evaluation, as it allows planners to simulate various scenarios and assess the best course of action. In this episode, we conclude our incursion through game theory by highlighting the most important lessons to be incorporated by the planning team in their strategy evaluation process. Lesson 1. Shift your mindset to strategic thinking. Before defining a strategy, adopt a mindset that considers both your actions and how others will respond. Strategy is not just about your next move, it's about anticipating competitors, customers, and market forces. Understand strategic interactions. Your decisions are intertwined with those of others. Your best move depends on what others do, and vice versa. This requires anticipating their actions and reactions. Train yourself to think several steps ahead, like in chess. Identify key players in your business environment, competitors, customers, partners. Understand their incentives, constraints, and likely reactions. Lesson 2. Understand your goals and constraints. Define your objectives. Clearly articulate what you want to achieve with your strategy. What are your priorities? What are you trying to maximize, profit, market share, influence? Identify your resources and limitations. What are your strengths and weaknesses? What resources do you have available, capital, expertise, time? What constraints are you operating under, legal, ethical, financial? Lesson 3. Identify the rules of the game, players, and their goals. Game theory starts with defining the structure of the competitive environment. Identify your rivals. Who are the other key players whose actions will affect your success? This could include competitors, customers, suppliers, regulators. Determine each player's motivations and goals such as profit, market share, cost reduction, or reputation. Analyze their motivations and capabilities. What drives your rivals? What are their goals and objectives? What are their strengths and weaknesses? What are they likely to do in response to your strategy? Define the explicit and implicit rules, pricing regulations, market norms, industry standards. Think about cooperation and competition. Are there opportunities for mutually beneficial cooperation? Where will competition be inevitable? How can you find the right balance between cooperation and competition? Lesson 4. Estimate scenarios and potential moves. Anticipating possible scenarios and actions helps in making proactive strategic choices. Consider all the players involved, their available choices, and the potential outcomes of those choices. Map out possible moves for your business and competitors. Consider various payoffs for each move, gains and losses based on each decision. Put yourself in the shoes of the other players. How are they likely to respond to your actions? What are their motivations and constraints? Lesson 5. Look forward and reason backwards. A fundamental game theory principle is backward induction, which means planning by starting at the desired outcome and working backward. Reason backwards. Start by considering the end result you desire. Then, work backward, step by step, to determine the actions you need to take now to achieve that outcome, considering how others will react at each step. Use decision trees, payoff matrices or scenarios to map out potential future events and their consequences. This will help you identify the optimal path. Choose actions that lead to the best long-term outcomes, rather than short-term wins. Lesson 6. Identify and use dominant strategies. A dominant strategy is one that provides the best outcome regardless of what others do. Identify if your business has a strategy that consistently outperforms alternatives. If a dominant strategy exists, use it. If no dominant strategy exists, assess the best response to your competitors' moves. Identify the dominant strategies of other players as well. If they have a dominant strategy, they will use it. Understanding this helps you anticipate their moves and adjust accordingly. Lesson 7. Identify and eliminate dominated strategies. In the absence of dominant strategies, look for and eliminate dominated strategies. A dominated strategy is one that always leads to worse outcomes than another option. Analyze your available strategies and remove those that are always inferior. Recognize when competitors might be stuck in a dominated strategy and exploit it. Continuously refine your strategic options. Lesson 8. Look for equilibria in the game. A Nash equilibrium is a situation where no player benefits from changing their strategy if others don't change theirs. Nash equilibrium allows for prediction and understanding of likely outcomes in strategic situations, helping players make informed decisions by anticipating where the game is likely to settle. Identify stable outcomes where each player's best response aligns with the other player's strategies. Recognize when your business is in a Nash equilibrium and whether it's beneficial. Consider ways to disrupt equilibrium if a new strategy could yield better payoffs. This could involve shifting the balance of power. By changing the rules, a player might create an equilibrium that advantages them, even if it disadvantages others. Creating a more efficient outcome. Sometimes, an existing equilibrium is inefficient, like a prisoner's dilemma outcome. Changing the game can lead to a more cooperative, mutually beneficial equilibrium. Disrupting a competitor's advantage. If a competitor benefits from the current equilibrium, changing it can undermine their position. Creating new market opportunities. Altering the game can open up previously unavailable strategic options, leading to new markets or partnerships. Lesson 9. Look for strategic moves. Strategic moves can shape the actions of competitors and market dynamics. Commitment. Make credible commitments that shape expectations such as long-term contracts, pricing guarantees. Signaling. Use market signals like pricing, partnerships, or marketing to influence competitor behavior. Threats and promises. Use conditional strategies to deter competition. Example: aggressive price cuts if a competitor enters your market. Lesson 10. Change the rules of the game. Instead of playing by existing rules, reshape the environment to your advantage. Change market dynamics. Introduce new business models, alter pricing structures. Switch from simultaneous to sequential games. Force competitors to reveal their moves first by securing early partnerships or patents, for instance. Create new competitive factors. Example: customer loyalty programs that change switching costs. Lesson 11. Identify prisoners' dilemmas and escape them. A prisoner's dilemma occurs when two players would benefit from cooperation but choose competitive moves instead. Recognize situations where mutual cooperation would yield better outcomes than cutthroat competition. Build trust through repeated interactions, reputation, and contracts. Use incentives to encourage cooperation instead of defection, such as partnerships, joint ventures. Lesson 12. Consider using mixed competitive strategies. The importance of using mixed strategies lies in introducing unpredictability and preventing opponents from exploiting predictable patterns. In situations where a pure strategy, or always choosing the same action, would lead to a predictable and exploitable weakness. A mixed strategy, which involves randomizing choices, can create a more robust and balanced approach, ensuring that no single opponent can consistently gain an advantage. Mixed strategies are especially useful in situations of pure conflict, where there is a winner and a loser. By following these 12 lessons, the planning team can create a more sophisticated, game theory-informed approach to strategy. Instead of reacting to competitors, they can proactively shape market dynamics, build sustainable advantages, and make better long-term decisions. Strategic success comes not from isolated decisions but from a continuous process of thinking ahead, adapting, and outmaneuvering the competition. Use these principles to refine your approach and build a business that stands the test of time. And this concludes this special sequence covering game theory. Please join us in our next episode where we will continue our discussion about strategy evaluation. Until then, keep strategizing. See you soon.